Hey, People Queen here from English Recaps, and today we are going through a 2014 drama romance movie called Gemma Bovary. The opening scene shows Martin Gilbert and exploration, making some flour and narrating how he came to Normandy 7 years ago to take over his father's bakery. He adds that he is a fan of the novel titled Madame Bovary, written by Gustave Flaubert in the year 1856. After the opening scene, Martin comes out of the bakery with burnt donuts and bread. His wife, Valerie, scolds him and tells him to go shave. Moments later, he sees Charlie Bovary, Martin's neighbor, burning some books that belong to Gemma, Charlie's wife. Charlie goes inside after burning the books to get Martin a drink. However, while he's at it, Martin steals one of Gemma's diaries. Later that night, Martin is in his room reading Gemma's diary. In the diary, Gemma writes about her marriage to Charlie. Gemma writes that she loves everything about Charlie except for the voice of his ex-wife. Back in the room, Martin continues reading. Martin then faces his dog, Gus, and narrates how Charlie and Gemma arrived one Sunday morning. Upon arriving, Charlie and Gemma tell Martin they're from London, England. They exchange greetings and Martin leaves afterward. Later that day, Valerie, Martin, and Julian, their son, talk about their new neighbors over a meal. Martin tells them that they have the same name from the book Madame Bovary. The next day, Charlie and Gemma visit Martin's bakery. At the bakery, the couple meets Wizzy, a woman in the neighborhood. They're both greeted very nicely by Wizzy. Then they look through the bakery and buy their bread before leaving. Sometimes later, Martin is walking on the road when he meets Gemma. Martin teaches her some French words and asks her to follow him somewhere. Martin takes Gemma on a short excursion around the area. After spending some time together, Gemma waves goodbye to Martin and the two part ways. However, one can see that Martin's facial expression shows he admires Gemma. Later that night, Charlie comes over to Martin's place to tell him that their electricity is out. Martin follows him and fixes the electricity in appreciation. Charlie shares a whiskey with Martin. Valerie comes over to join them in. The group has a discussion. During their discussion, Martin's attention was on Gemma all through. Moment later, a mouse walks on Gemma's feet, scaring her. She vouches to buy rat poison, but Martin tells her that it's... Now in their home, Valerie informs Martin that she knows he has a crush on Gemma. The next day, there's heavy rain. Charlie and Gemma are seen trying to fix their leaky roof. Gemma complains bitterly about the structure of the house. Meanwhile, Martin gazes at Gemma from his house. After the rain, Gemma visits Martin's bakery to buy some bread. Martin offers to teach Gemma how to make bread, and she accepts. While rolling and mixing the flour, Gemma flirts with Martin. Later on at dinner, Valerie scolds Julian that he plays lots of video games. The following day, Martin sees Gemma and her dog, Carrington, by the field area. He goes over to greet her and accidentally dropped his Madame Bovary novel. He then asks Gemma if she has read the book, but she says no. Just then, Gemma tells Martin about the problems they are facing in their house. Martin sympathizes with her and pours her a drink. Gemma complained, upon sipping the drink, that it was too strong. Sometime later, Gemma goes over to Martin's bakery. At the bakery, she meets Wizzy and her husband, Mark. Mark invites Gemma, Charlie, Martin, and Valerie over for dinner, and they all grace his invitation out at dinner. The group discusses politics. Martin tries to converse in English, but his English was so bad that he stopped talking. Later on, Wizzy shows Gemma around her house. Inside, Wizzy takes her visitor to her gym room, encouraging her to take her body fitness seriously. In the next scene, Gemma seen jogging and doing other forms of fitness. Sometimes later, Martin sees Gemma and exclaims that she has lost weight. Just as Gemma starts to leave, a bee gets into her clothes and stings her in the back. She screams and calls for Martin to help her get it out. Martin unzips her down and takes out the bee. He adds that he will have to suck the venom out. While doing so, Orway, another neighbor, Hervé, who is at home for the holidays, sees them and comes over while Martin is still explaining what was going on to Hervé. Gemma collapses. A little while later, Hervé and Martin are seen driving Gemma to a clinic. At the clinic, the doctor who attended to Gemma told her that she is allergic to bee stings. He also explains that that was the reason why she went into shock. Moments later, the group leaves the clinic. As they travel in the car, Gemma sleeps on Martin's shoulder and he smiles. In the next scene, Wizzy is appreciating Gemma's paintings. While doing so, Charlie and Mark watch football in the living room. Wizzy shows Gemma a magazine where she sees a picture of her ex-boyfriend, Patrick, and his fiancée. This triggers Gemma to remember his love life with Patrick and how he cheated on her with another woman. Now back in her conscious self, Wizzy and Charlie leaves as Gemma waves them goodbye. Charlie notices Gemma acting weird and asks her what was wrong, but Gemma gives no reply. Later on, Gemma, seen in her room, writing in her diary. She expresses her disbelief that Patrick is getting married. She also adds that Patrick is a hypocrite. The next day, Gemma visits the market at the market. She meets Harv and the two have a short discussion. Meanwhile, Martin is looking at the duo from his bakery. Gemma is then seen painting and dancing to a tune at home when Charlie comes over and informs her of a dinner party. Sometime later, Gemma visits a wine shop and meets Harv, who invites her over to his place. A little while later, Martin goes to deliver bread when he spots Gemma's vehicle. He drives by Gemma's car to say hello, but she couldn't hear him because of the song playing in her car. Moments later, Gemma stops Harv's place. Martin sees her turning to Harv's place, and he follows her secretly as Harv takes Gemma around his castle-like house. During dinner, Martin keeps thinking about what Gemma and Harv could be doing together in such a big house. Moments later, Martin spots a mark on Gemma's neck and he concludes that she and Harv made out. While following morning while disposing of the bin, Martin meets Harv and the two have a talk about hard school. A little while later, Harv and making out in his castle. The following day, Gemma comes to buy bread and croissants at the bakery. Martin asks about her husband and she says he's in London for work. After Gemma has left, Martin discovers that she forgot her croissants, and Martin goes over to her place to give her the croissant, but on getting there, he finds Gemma and Harv making out. Martin stays by the window and hears the duo talking. Gemma tells Harv that their relationship is only temporary. Up next, Valerie wakes up during the night and couldn't find her husband. She checks the living room and finds Martin thinking and eating the croissant from earlier. The following morning, Gemma tells her husband that she is taking Carrington for a walk. Moments later, she sneaks through the yard and goes to Harv's place. Upon arriving, Gemma tells him that they only have 1 hour. Immediately, the duo jumps onto their love-making business. During the process, they break one of Harv's family antiques. Gemma assures him that Charlie can fix it. When leaving, Gemma takes the antique with her. Later on, Gemma is at the bakery buying bread. She informs Martin and Valerie that she will be going to London for a short while because of work. In the next scene, Gemma goes to check the mail. She sees a letter from Harv telling her goodbye. She immediately calls Harv, but he hangs up. Now in Harv's place, Harv's mother, Madame de Brasini, informs Harv that she can't find the antique. Harv tells her that he has given it to an Englishman for repairs. During their altercation, Gemma calls Harv and he hangs up again. Moments later, Gemma is seen walking to Harv's place when she gets a text from him that he's not around at the moment. Gemma turns back in tears. Up next, Harv's mother stops by Charlie's place to ask for the antique, but Charlie tells her that Harv didn't give him any antique. Harv's mother then gives Charlie her card. She drives off to Paris, afterward with Harv in the car. Just then, Martin, who is in a distance, thinks to himself that he is successful in breaking Harv and Gemma apart. Later that night, Charlie asks Gemma if she knows anything about the antique and she says no. She tells Charlie that she wants to discuss something with him, but he says he doesn't want to hear it. Moments later, Charlie packs his bags and leaves the house with Gemma in tears. A week later, Martin finds Carrington astray in the woods. He takes it back to Gemma, who in turn invites him for tea. Upon entering, Gemma shows Martin a letter from Madame de Brasini's lawyer about the antique. Gemma tells Martin that she can't find the antique and she would need Martin's assistance to write back to the lawyer. Some time passes and Gemma visits Wizzy. She meets Patrick over there, who informed her of his breakup with his fiancée. Patrick flirts with her and asks her to come to the seaside with him later in the day. Afterward, Martin is leaving the cathedral when he spots Gemma and Patrick hugging each other. In the distance moments later, Patrick and Gemma are having dinner in a restaurant. At the dinner, Gemma tells Patrick she doesn't want anything to do with him again. Up next, Gemma is packing some of her stuff in the house when she sees the antique. She calls Charlie while crying to tell him how much she misses him. A little while later, Gemma invites Martin for tea. Upon entering the house, Martin notices that she's packed most of her belongings. He asked her what is wrong, and out of fear that Gemma wants to terminate herself, he accidentally lets it out that he was the one who sent the letter to Gemma and he broke Gemma and Harv apart. Gemma scolds her that she shouldn't have used a book to judge her life. He informs her that he was scared for Gemma, and before he leaves, Gemma pecks him on the lips. In the next scene, Martin bakes a loaf of bread and leaves it on Gemma's doorstep. Moments later, Gemma hears a knock on the door. Upon opening the door, she sees Patrick, who gave her the bread that someone left on her doorstep. Patrick comes in and tells Gemma that he is willing to change for the better. Just then, Charlie arrives in a taxi. Seconds later, Charlie runs outside calling for help. Martin goes inside to find Gemma's body on the floor while Patrick sits by the cabinet. Later that night, the autopsy report reveals that Gemma choked on a piece of bread. Martin's eyes filled with tears because he believes he is the cause of her death. At the funeral, Martin tells Charlie that he is guilty of terminating Gemma because she choked on the bread he gave her. However, Charlie tells Martin that he's the one to blame. He tells Martin that when he entered the home, he found Patrick holding Gemma. He concluded that they made out. Upon seeing this, he jumped at Patrick, pushing him before engaging in a struggle with him. Little did Charlie know that Patrick was trying to help Gemma because she was choking on a piece of bread. After hearing the story, Patrick tells Charlie not to blame himself. Patrick says he's the reason Gemma choked on the bread because he was trying to make out with her. Now back in the present day, Martin read through Gemma's diary and find out that she was ready to settle with Charlie. Some time passes and Julian comes into the house to inform Martin and Valeria, their new neighbor. The movie comes to an end with Martin talking about a book with the new neighbor. Thanks for watching, guys.